right, every Wednesday, the taxi pulls up, drops off Joe, the Bryan insurance guy, and, Joe, talking today about some things and the economy being what it is and, prices being the way they are and stuff like that. We have to watch and manage every dime that we get. Right. And something that I see a lot on TV, here on radio, stuff like that, is you got certain insurance companies that will say stuff like, we got the cheapest rate here. We can beat anybody's price. Name your own price. Da-da-da-da-da-da. That's all good and everything. But are you just buying an insurance card? Are you buying coverage? What are you doing?
Yeah, pretty much. Just like you said, you want to get the most value for your money. I kind of make it akin to, like if I wrecked my car, for example, or let's just say this. Let's say that, I'm having some engine problems. I'm not really sure. And I decide I'm just going to fix it myself. I'm going to do it all right. I'm a guy who knows absolutely nothing about engines, but that's okay. I'll go fix it myself instead of maybe taking it out to Will, letting Will take a look at it. Insurance is the same way. We do this for a living. We're licensed. We're trained to do this. And when you play the old name your price game, you're really kind of doing a disservice to yourself because you can put any price you want on it. Problem is, what kind of coverage do you have for that price?
Right.
And are you getting what you think you're getting? For example, we had a client the other day that did that exact same thing. They went in and looked at it and named the price, only to find out that the price that they named, that didn't have full coverage on it. And if you're financing your car, either loaning or a lease, you're going to need full coverage on it because the bank's going to want to make sure their interests are covered. So, you're going to need to have full coverage, comp and collision. So a lot of times when you go on these websites, the coverages aren't going to be there, or you're going to have basic minimal coverage. I heard an ad in the radio the other day talking about, and it wasn't on this station, but talking about leasing a vehicle. And one of the advantages they said to leasing was that you can get state minimum coverages. And I thought, wow, what a disservice to the public to say that, because, quite honestly, having state minimum coverages versus covering your car the way you need to be with higher limits, again, we've talked about it so many times on this station. You're talking the difference of maybe a Whataburger a month, and it's one of those situations where we see this a lot too when you're talking about folks that either are picking their own coverages or just say, hey, give me whatever you can give me. You've got two components, for example, in liability. You've got when you hit the other person, and then you've got uninsured, underinsured motorists for when and if they hit you. And folks will routinely, I'll see it, they'll cover the other person they hit more than they're going to cover if somebody hits them. And to me, I would want to cover myself the same. Now, typically you've got to keep those levels exactly the same, but you see it happen a lot of times where people will have varying coverages, or, well, I thought I had this, but I didn't have it. It's never a good idea to find out after the fact that you didn't have the coverage you thought you had. That's why you need to sit down. You can either sit down with an agent or, bare minimum, talk to your agent on the phone. We got a lot of clients that are outside of the Graham area, some in, Dallas, Fort Worth. Tyler Houston is dealing with a client the other day down in Conroe, and, just kind of going over their coverages. The renewal came in and it would say, hey, let's look at it. Let's take a look and see any changes. You guys may anticipate making any changes. One of the things that they had said is, we're thinking about maybe getting a new house. We bought a parcel of land. There's nothing on it now, but we're thinking about putting a house. Well, we need to address that from a liability standpoint. We're probably going to need to add it to the policy because they have auto, home, but they also have an umbrella. We need to add that to let the insurance company know, hey, there's this parcel of land sitting over there just in case anything happens. So probably not going to get that on with Flo or the lizard or the elephant or all the other insert animal different name people here.
You hear a lot of people, you're talking about insurance, or if insurance ever comes up, the thing I always hear is that, I can't get higher coverages because I can't afford to get those things. Well, here's my feeling. It's always been this way. And Sonia my wife, insurance agency, Bryan Insurance, has always kind of explained this to me. Well, if you pay a little bit more up front to get better coverages, when you do have that accident, because she told me, and I mean, this is very true, it's not if, it's when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
you could really be out some major bucks.
Right.
You want to talk about you can't afford things. You want to talk about going into chapter 7, because you hit somebody's Lexus or some high dollar car or whatever it could be. You better have those coverages up front before you get into that.
The biggest thing, too, when you talk about hitting other people, usually it's not so much the property damage aspect of it. Again, the hitting of the Lexus or, whatever car or something like that. It's not the physical damage aspect of it. It's the bodily injury. Bodily injury will hurt you in a heartbeat when it comes to, money out of pocket type of thing. Mm-hmm. And you're exactly right. Keeping your coverages at a higher level, just like you said, a lot of folks say, hey, I can't afford it. But I'm honestly wondering how many times I've actually looked at it and said, okay, what is the difference that I'm talking here? Knock on wood, you may go 10, 20 years and never have an auto accident. I had a really good friend of mine in the DFW area that refused to have uninsured motorists on his policy. And I said, man, why are you doing that? Well, I just don't need it. I've been pretty lucky, was his answer. Mm-hmm. Like, man,
your luck will run out sooner
one of
or
these
later.
days your luck's going to run out. Perfect example. Here you go. Last week we had 2 accidents out on 16 South. Mm-hmm. I can probably guarantee you that I guess there were 4 people involved in.
Right.
Okay. I can guarantee you that each one of those persons did not set out that morning say, I think today I'm going to have a wreck. I can smell it in the air. Wrecks are accidents, and they happen like that, and you want to make sure that you're covered the way you need to be. You want to make sure that you have the right coverage and at least have some concept of knowing what you've got. Yes, I'm an insurance agent, so I know exactly what my limits are, but you want to make sure that, hey, you know what? Every 6 months to a year, I want to check to make sure I'm covered the way I need to be. And you need to sit down and talk to an agent. You need to consult with your agent to make sure that you're covered exactly the way you need to be and you know what you've got.
Now, folks are asking questions right now in their mind going, who do I call? What do I do? How do they do that?
Very simple, 549-2525. You can come on up to the second floor of the Sierra Bank building. We'll get you taken care of, either Ann, Lynette, myself. We also do commercial coverages as well. Ty Gerner and Brad Bryan over there, they can help you out. Sonia's over there. So we've got you covered. We can get you covered. If you've got questions, hey, what do I do? What's this? What's that? Give us a call. Let us know and set up a time. We'll come on up there. And again, we'll make sure you're covered the way you need to be.
Give them a call today at 549-7777 or look them up on the web at Bryan.
That's actually the wrong number, but that's okay.
Wait a minute, that's my number.
Boy, that's your number.
Yeah, it's
Are you an insurance guy now?
Yes, it's 549-2525. What I was saying was they can call this number and I'll give them the number.
Boy, that's a good segue.
Yeah,
better bail yourself out there.
And also you can look them up at BrianINS.com. All right, Joe, thanks a lot, buddy.
See you later, Rick.
And, don't forget, coming Saturday, you can hear me and Joe, or Joe and I, however you want to do it, as we bring you all kinds of Lake Country sports.
I like to think people hear Joe and you.
Well, Joe and you. All right, we got Led Zeppelin coming up here on your Cornelius Custom Service 8 o'clock hour. Stick around.